Zoe, hi. First of all, I want to wish you a happy Women's Day. And on
Oh,
that,
happy Women's Day to you too. How lovely
thank
to talk to you
you.
on International Women's Day.
Perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like your character, Kate, is a very strong woman, seeing that she's the one to go against the powerful CEO of the one. But I like how we still get to see her more vulnerable side when it comes to her match, because in movies or series, when it comes to strong female characters, oftentimes we don't get to see that side, even though I think being vulnerable takes a lot of strength, right? So, what makes a strong female character in your eyes?
Um, I totally agree with you. What I love about Kate and what appealed to me when I chose to play her was that she's a very secure woman. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants. She works hard. She's progressed in her career. She has seemingly got everything sorted out, but perhaps the personal side of her life has been neglected a little bit. And I quite admire the fact that she decides to take the risk and join this matching service to try and do that. It sort of represents to me that she's somebody. Oh, sorry, my earphones come out. It represents to me that she's somebody who is willing to take a risk, but also time to kind of mess around. She wants to find someone and she wants to get on with it. So I love that side of Kate. But as you say, within the program, you also get to see the personal side to her life, and it's that side of her life that starts to become more and more chaotic, and we do see her more vulnerable side coming through. I think we see her as in such a secure role in her job that it's also nice to see that other side of her. And of course, that's true of all women, isn't it? And all people, all human beings, they can't all be one thing at all times. And we've kind of reached the stage in sort of life where we all want to portray strong women, but what does a strong woman mean? And if you see their fallibilities, and if you see the things that they find difficult in life, it doesn't mean they're any less strong. It just means that they are complex, and they are, they've got a lot of different facets to their personality. And so that's great, and I think what's also refreshing when playing Kate is the fact that she's sort of not, she's not apologetic for who she is. There's quite a trend, I think, sometimes in detective dramas particularly, that you have to see somebody who is really good at their job but completely flawed. They've got a drinking problem, or they've got something that's kind of they're having to battle against. And actually, we don't see that with Kate. She has got a complicated relationship with the person that she's matched with, but she's still capable. She's still able to do her job to the best of her ability. She's able to juggle everything, and which is true of most women I know. We're always juggling many balls, and that takes a lot of strength.
Absolutely, completely agree with you. So, Kate's match lives somewhere far away at first, and so they have this long distance thing going on. They like cook together online, and that's something that I believe many people have been doing this past year. So, how have you been spending your time, or how have you been coping with this difficult situation?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because when we were filming the one, we had no idea that this was about to hit the globe. This global pandemic was about to hit. We finished filming just at the end of February last year, and so even kind of talking to Sophia on Zoom and cooking with her on Zoom seemed quite a sort of novel thing to do. Whereas, of course, now we've all spent a very different year in lockdown. We've all had to adapt, haven't we? And yeah, I done my fair share of cooking, that's for sure. I've got small children, so I've been homeschooling my two children, and that also, of course, when you've got everybody in the house all day every day, you end up doing a lot of cooking. But so there have been definite kind of massive changes in the way we live our life. So yeah, I've mostly spent my time doing homeschooling and lots of Zooming with my friends and my family who I've missed enormously. And also just getting out the house for walks and trying to keep optimistic. And also I've been trying to sort of focus my creativity into my writing. I write as well. So yes, it's been a huge change, but just trying to get through it in the best way possible, really.
So let's talk about love. I feel like the next question is a very obvious one, but I almost have to ask. Do you believe
Okay.
that there is one perfect match for everyone?
Oh, see, it's interesting that you think it's an obvious. I don't think it has an obvious answer. I think personally, I feel like there can be more than one match for everybody. I feel that the world is a big place and there are very many people in it, and you don't know where life's going to take you. You don't know who you're going to meet in life. And I think there's an opportunity to meet all sorts of different people. And some people meet one person they're going to be with forever, and good on them. And some people have lots of loves in their lives, or some people choose not to go down that route at all, and that's perfectly fine as well. So I think it's sometimes a little bit worrying thinking that there can only possibly be one true soulmate out there for you, because it seems sort of ridiculous that we're out of this whole world full of billions of people, there's only that one person. So I believe that we have the opportunity to meet many loves in our lives, and also loves that aren't just about romantic love. I have, and particularly in lockdown, the love that I miss so much is, because I've got my partner and I've got my children with me who are obviously the loves of my life, but I miss the love of my friends so much, especially on International Women's Day. I miss my girlfriends, and I miss my parents, and there are so many different loves to experience, so there isn't just one, in my opinion.
I agree, and I feel you. Another question that comes to mind while watching the show is whether love itself is enough for a relationship to work. What are your thoughts on that?
I think again, it sort of leads in from the last question as well. I think it's quite hard if you think that your entire life is going to be satisfied by one person and love. I think the way that sort of we're brought up with fairy tales and stories that we're sold in the media about falling in love and marriage being the perfect ideal, and I think is problematic, because I think if you think you're going to get everything from one person, then you're going to be disappointed. There are so many challenges in life, and yes, the day-to-day challenges are tough, but who knows what's going to hit us? A year ago we didn't know that there was going to be a global pandemic, and we were going to be faced with the multitude of challenges that has given us. So I personally feel like love is not just enough. You have to have other things. You have to have a sense of self-worth. You have to have interest in passions in life. You have to be interested in everybody around you, and you get different things from different people, and if you are lucky enough to find somebody that you want to spend a lot of time with, then that's wonderful, but it certainly isn't the be all and end all for everybody, and I think everybody's different.
Absolutely. It's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yeah. And there are things that I think it's almost impossible to expect that you can be intellectually satisfied, physically satisfied, emotionally satisfied, creatively satisfied in all one person. I think there's just too much pressure in a relationship if you're expecting that much. And I think if people just kind of relax about those sorts of things and just accept that you're going to find those different things from different people and in different areas of your life, there'll be much more harmony.
I agree, absolutely. But if it was a real thing that there was just one person for everyone, would you want to know? Would you take the test?
Um, I don't think I would. I think I'd be very, very curious. I think it's such an intriguing premise, the thought that, you know, you could be genetically matched. We're so used to DNA as a scientific construct, you know, being used to solve crimes or to advance science or to you know, find out about our ancestry. But the thought of science telling you who to love, I think is really quite problematic. And as we discussed before, you can love somebody, but you know, there's a whole other loads of factors that affect how that relationship will run its course. So, and you know, and plus I have got a partner who I've been with for a long time, so if I took the test, I think that he would be he would, that wouldn't reflect too well on him.
Um, the story is based on John Marr's book, and I read that he actually chose to self-publish after being rejected so many times. And here we are now with the Netflix show, which is amazing. And I think that's a great lesson on resilience and perseverance. How has your experience been with that as an actress?
Yeah, I'm glad you've mentioned that. It's so inspiring that he decided to go ahead and self-publish his book. You know, he had a huge amount of self-belief, and you know, it's incredibly hard to get a book published. So why not go out there and do it for yourself? And yes, look where it's ended up. I hugely applaud that, and you know, I personally have found in my career as an actress, you know, again, it's an oversaturated market. There are hundreds of thousands of actors out there all trying to get the same jobs, and at times, you know, you have good times and bad times, and you take those risks because you love what you do, and I love what I do. But there's also an element of powerlessness in that sometimes. You know, as an actor, you're often at the behest of other people. You're waiting for the phone to ring, you're waiting for your agent to tell you about an audition, you're waiting for someone to give you the opportunity to work. And so increasingly, as I've gotten older, I've become frustrated with that, and I've also become frustrated at some of the roles that are out there for me to play. You know, there are many roles out there that I'd love to play that I don't get the opportunity to be cast in. So I specifically in the last few years, but even more so in lockdown, I have been really concentrating on my writing, because there's an element of me that hugely admires the likes of Michaela Cole and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who have actively sort of said, you know, the parts weren't there for me, so I wrote them for myself. And you know, and I follow in those women's footsteps, and I hope to do that myself. So yeah, I think all power to John for self-publishing, and to anybody who has the courage to do that.
I love that. What kind of role would you like to play?
Well, one of the roles that I'm interested in, there are many roles I'd love to play, but I'm interested in the expectations we place on women as we get older. A bit as we were discussing about love, this kind of idea, I'm interested in the idea that that there's some sense of failure if you haven't succeeded in love. And I'm interested in pushing the boundaries of that a bit, and sort of discussing what it is as a choice to be single, maybe, and to explore that. I am always interested in female friendship and the bond that women have, because I think it is incredibly unique, and it's not explored. Even now, when there's much more content on our screens, I still think that unique relationship that women have with each other needs exploring more. And then I'm currently in the midst of writing a series that is based on my grandmother's heritage, which was all based around the fishing industry in the 1950s, and the sort of treacherous fishing industry, and it tells a story about a community that was kind of divided into times when the men were there, and then when the men went to sea, it was a community run by women. So this incredible strong network of women who did everything. They raised their children, they worked, they provided education and the pastoral care for their families. But then when the men came back, they had to play the little wife role again. And I'm interested in that dynamic and how that's changed over history. So yeah, I'm basically interested in women. On International Women's Day, I'm interested in playing all kinds of women, whatever they may be.
That's perfect. So the Book of the One offers many different stories, and there's so much you could do with it. I love how there's a murder mystery, we have some romance, and the whole dystopian aspect to it. What can viewers expect from the show, especially fans who've read the book?
Well, I think that's partly what I found so intriguing about it. I think it has elements of all sorts of things. It's got this. What I like about it is that it has got this sci-fi element to it, and yet it doesn't feel completely out of the realms of possibility. It feels like actually this is something that could happen. You know, we've seen trends in dating change so much over the last 15 years, and maybe this is the next step, and that's so interesting. And so I really like this kind of idea, this concept of how society can shift ever so slightly with how people change their habits. So I think it's got the sci-fi element. Then of course it's got this thriller aspect, because there's a crime that happens that's associated with the matching agency, and my character, who is a detective, obviously gets involved with investigating that crime, and that is incredibly tense and incredibly intriguing. And then there's this romantic element as well, where you've got various couples kind of trying to make their situations work, and it's you know, when something as big as this kind of shifts society, it's interesting to see how that affects individuals. And I think it's got a real sort of psychological aspect to it as well. I hope it's got something for everybody.
I think it does. Is there anything you know and can tell us about season 2? Or if not, what would you like to see for Kate in a second season?
I don't know anything about season 2. I think we have to wait to see how people embrace the show when it goes out on March the 12th. But obviously I would absolutely love to explore the character of Kate further and the storylines. And as you say, there are so many different areas that you could potentially explore with this premise. I think what I particularly like and I particularly enjoyed filming was the relationship, actually, not between, I mean, I did enjoy filming all the relationships, but I particularly enjoyed this relationship between Kate and Rebecca Webb, the CEO of The One, because actually these are two very, very different women who are both powerful women in their own fields, but very, very different sorts of people. And you've got Rebecca Webb as a sort of Machiavellian, quite cold scientist, logical brain, and then you've got Kate, who is driven to find the truth, and she's driven by justice, and you've got this real sort of good bad element. And it's only towards the end that you start seeing this dynamic between the two women, and it becomes much more personal between them. And so I'm really excited at the thought of exploring that further. And also, you know, as the series progresses, Kate's personal life, it gets more and more chaotic, and she's trying to keep a grip on that at the same time as investigating this murder. And so I'm interested in what that does to Kate as a person, and how she manages to keep that going, and to keep the strength to support her partner when it all seems to be sort of slightly running away with her. So there's so much more to explore with that character, and I'd love the opportunity to.
Me too. I mean, it can't end like this, you know.
Have you seen all 8 episodes?
Yes, I watched them all.
Okay, brilliant. Wonderful. Yeah. I know it's sort of there are still many things to many strings to be tied, aren't there, at the end? Yeah.
Yes, but that's what's so great about it. Like we said, there's so much you could do with it. So that was actually my last question, but I still have like a quick, fun game of the one if you're up
Okay,
for
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
So I'll just give you two things that might have something to do with the show, and you have to choose which one is the perfect match for you.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
So, beef steak tomato or birthday cake?
Birthday cake.
Same.
Always birthday cake. Come
Of
on.
course. Dogs or cats?
Cats. I'm a total cat lover, and in fact my little cat, while I've been speaking to you, is curled up right next to me on just on the side there. And yeah, she's loved having me around much more during lockdown. So yes, I'm such a cat
Oh,
person. I
me
love my
too.
cat.
I had to put my cat outside for the interview. But
Well,
yes.
I had an interview before actually, and the cat started meowing the whole way through. So I put her outside, and then she started meowing to come back in again. So now she's nice and quiet now.
Aw. So, tea or drinks?
Which one, tea or drinks?
Yes.
So drinks as in sort of alcoholic drinks.
Just go out for a drink with friends, maybe. Have a
Okay.
beer.
Oh well, at the moment I'm craving going out for drinks with friends, and my goodness me. But I'm also a huge tea drinker, so I'm a bit on the fence with that because I just love them both. So I'll go in the middle somewhere.
Maybe like a tea flavored beer.
Oh, I don't know about that. That might not be quite so nice.
Depends on the flavor. So
tea with friends in the afternoon, which then leads on to drinks later on in the
yes,
evening. I think
yes,
that's perfect.
that's
Yeah.
the one. So yoga or running?
Yoga, definitely. I decided sort of foolishly for me to take up running during lockdown, which I've never really embraced before, and it didn't go that well. I just did. I love being outside and I love that aspect of it, but I just don't feel like I've got. I think some people have running bodies and some people don't, and I think I'm much more attuned to yoga, so I'll go yoga.
Sunset on the beach or a kiss under the rain?
Oh, goodness me. I think at the moment, sunset on the beach is incredibly appealing. Again, we've been in lockdown for so long that, oh, the thought of being on a beach and being near the sea is just, oh my goodness, such a dream. So yes, let's do sunset on the beach.
Agreed. It's been a while.
It has.
So, hair up or hair down?
Probably hair down, because if I put my hair up, it's just to completely tie it back to get it out of my way. I'm not very good at doing my hair. I'm not very adventurous with my hair. So, and I think because I'm an actress and I get it done for me quite a lot of the time, when I'm left to my own devices, I just a quick blow dry and it's down. And it's fine.
I think we touched on that before. Party night out or staying in to watch Netflix?
Yeah. Well, I am quite a home girl, but at the same time, I've watched so much TV and I've had so many nights in that I'm definitely craving a night out. I think I'll go with that for now.
I would love to join you.
Please, let's do it.
The next one kind of goes together, and I think I know the answer, but research or writing?
Research or writing? Well, but as you say, they are kind of interlinked, aren't they? I think that there's something about when you sit down to write, you just have to get pen to paper. And I think sometimes it's the actual physicality of sitting there and doing it that kind of spurs you on. But obviously, if you're writing about a topic that you're unfamiliar with, or another historical sort of place or time, then research is key. So I think they're completely hand in hand.
TV shows or books?
Oh goodness, that's tricky because I love both. I think if I could literally only have one, I don't know. Oh, I find that so hard. I love TV. It's what I do for a living. I love watching brilliant television, but at the same time, there's nothing, you're never alone if you've got a book. That's what my mum always says. And there's something about immersing yourself in a book and being taken away completely by your imagination that is incredibly special. So can I sit on the fence again and have both?
Yes, there's more than one match for you.
There is more than one match for me, definitely.
Last one, a thriller or rom-coms?
Do you know what? I love a rom-com, and I think that they've kind of gone out of flavour recently. And when I was growing up, one of my favourite films is When Harry Met Sally. I mean, that's just the best rom-com of all time, isn't it? And so I do actually, I think possibly, my go-to comfort film would be a rom-com over a thriller, I think.
Agreed. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for participating.
Oh, it's a total pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I can't wait for all the reactions to the one.
Oh, thanks so much, and thank you for watching, and lovely to chat to you, and happy International Women's Day.
Yes.